I find that dudes don't be caring what I'm doing, because it's also seen as though what I'm doing is inconsequential. It's an added bonus that no dude is necessarily looking for financially. They don't care what a woman does or makes, and so a lot of times my goals, dreams, ambitions are dismissed.
It's me as a man.
Yeah.
I don't care how much money. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I don't care
fine.
how much money you make. It don't make me no mind.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It don't. If you make it, cool. If you don't, cool. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I heard this and I feel like it is so true. Right. Men make money to bring home to their family.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Women make money to make sure they got what they want.
All right, guys, welcome back to Lex Talk. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Alexis, and the purpose of this channel is to have real conversations about life, love, and relationships. All right, so today's episode is actually a continuation of last week's key conversation with Kimoy, where we started discussing gender roles in strong Black women. So if you haven't had a chance, go check out part 1, episode 4, and then come back over and check this out. So without wasting any more time, let's jump into it. All right.
When I was in college, you know how many times, like, women would come over to one of my homeboys or my apartment and be like, bro, where the rest of your furniture? You'd be like, I got a TV, I got somewhere to sleep, and I got a place to eat. Like,
what else
I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Because
yeah, that's
what matters to us.
Right.
But then, like, the girl you talking to, she's like, I'm not coming over here if you sleeping on a mattress. Now I got to get a couch. You know what I'm saying? So we can sit on the couch.
Yeah.
Like you said, you ain't got no headboard. You ain't got no... Now I got to go buy this and get it. Not because it really makes me no mind.
Yeah.
But the person that I care about cares about it. So I'm going to put in some effort.
Right.
And so I just feel like when you hear, like, these conversations about, like, that's really what it is. Like, that's your money. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, yes, you bring it to the family. But you always going to be like, that's my money. But the money that I make, it's not my money. It's the family. You know, like, I'm bringing it home to provide for my family.
Right. But this goes back to that, like, what people think versus what we should be aiming for.
Right.
Aiming for both of us to be seen as whole individuals that are contributing to the same life.
But it doesn't have to be the same. We can contribute to the same life, but it doesn't have to be in the same way. And I feel like that is where we get disconnected. You know what I'm saying? As men and women.
Okay.
Because if I bring X amount of dollars, right?
Right.
And this is how I contribute, you know what I'm saying? And you want to bring in X amount of dollars as you contribute, then because we're equal, right? When it's time to fix something, who you gonna get under the rent, you know what I'm saying? Get under the car. You're gonna
talking to a whole architect, so absolutely I will. Which also is a problem.
I understand for you, but
what I'll say is I'm not trying to mow the lawn. I'm not trying to take out the garbage. I'm also not trying to surveil the house,
the premises, to make sure we're safe.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like we fall into how we contribute in certain areas, but then when we be like, you know what I'm saying, like that's not where I feel like you can be more beneficial. Then it's pushback. It's why I can't, yada, yada, yada. So it's just like, I'm going to let you do what you want just so everyone's happy.
I'm asking it because a lot of times, like, honestly, what I want in life is just let me be me. Like, I want to let you be you, let me be me. We just come together and we have fun. That kind of thing. Like,
I understand. But in every situation, at work, at church, in life, there's some level of compromise. There's some level of, you know what I'm saying, I got to act more here, then be free here, and it's a give and take. And so when you're signing up, it's are the gives and takes even to where I feel like, all right, this is me. or am I being another person?
Yeah, usually it is. So the same guy that I was talking to that didn't wasn't able to make less or whatever. Basically his thought is the woman working is, she can work, but at the end of the day, her role, responsibilities is still the nurturing, caring of the family and the kids. So her working, he said, means that she now is stressed out about having to maintain all this stuff that he feels is traditionally the man's responsibility. And so she's coming home just as exhausted as him. And so she's not able to do these things. And then it's just it's this kind of clash of like roles where, and it's crazy because I understand that thought. I guess the part is it possible to have it all? Like, can a woman work and a man work and the kids be like the family work? Or is it seen as though, why does it have to be seen as though when a woman goes and works or is able to have success of her own in that way, that it is to the detriment of the family?
I think it falls down to that, you know what I'm saying? Being that I see a lot, you know. I work with a lot of young and middle-aged women who deal with kids all day, and they go home and they do be tired for their families. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that energy to give. And it's like, that can be fine, but when...
But the man doesn't either, though.
Right, but when a kid is scared, you know what I'm saying, and they want to cry, that not always going to run to dad.
Right.
Because dad is going to, what are you scared of? The dark?
But that's why when I go back to we're trying to aim to be whole, healthy individuals. Not say that we're going to take on the role the same way.
But we're not the same.
No, we're not the same.
And so we still have to move in what's natural for us.
Yes.
I'm a male teacher, and I love my students to death. Mm-hmm. But the first time a child tried to give me a hug, I stiff armed her. I'm not even going to pretend. I was like, hold on. What you doing? Like, you trying to hug me? And then another teacher was like, he's in the 3rd grade. Like, he's still like in that in-between stage. He needs a hug. Yeah. And so I was just like, what? But the other my counterparts, they, oh my gosh, you know, hugging the kids up. And I was just like, what? And so it's that, you know what I'm saying? Thinking about having my mom and my dad. If I had a problem and I went to my dad, I knew for sure I was walking away with a solution. So if it wasn't a solution that I was looking for, I didn't go talk to my dad. Yeah. Because he's not, all right. How can we fix it?
Right.
But my mom, she gonna listen. It's okay. She gonna give me a hug, pat me on my back, try to make me feel better, and then send me to my dad to find a solution to the problem. Now I've already, gotten out all my emotional, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. Now I'm ready to take on the challenge.
Right. All right. So going back to like what you said with, your mom throws down, dad's a sous chef. Mm-hmm. All right. So in that dynamic, to me, that is well-rounded individuals where, your dad ain't the chef, but if mom ain't around, he can absolutely step in and cook. Or mom is tired because she worked. So why can't it be that, again, we're all aiming to be whole, healthy individuals. We don't never ever get there, but that's our goal. So I acknowledge that I provide most of the nurturing, mothering kind of thing. The father provides more of the, whatever you want to call that. Yeah, that kind of stuff in that way. So we both go to work or whatever, tired. Guess what? Mom is more tired today. So can dad go ahead and do his sous chef, fill in for the mom today. That doesn't mean that the mom doesn't recognize that that's the role that she plays regularly. And so you can't be tired out every day, or even if you are tired, suck it up and do what you got to do.
And I agree. But that falls down to what you said earlier, is how you communicate. Are we communicating that? Are you letting me know with the same kind of communication you would want to, hey, can you pick this up because I'm feeling some type of way, so you cook. You know what I'm saying? So the meat's already taken out, then can you just season it and put it together? Yeah. So we're working together. It's not now I'm surprising it on you. You get off at 5 o'clock, and I'm calling you at 5:30, talking about something. Oh, I'm gonna be late. Can you cook?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's not where my head is. Now I'm gonna have an attitude or whatever the case may be. Because I might have had a rough day, and now something that I wasn't expecting is being thrown on my plate. But if it's communicating in ample time to be like, hey, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be, now I can have a clear goal and aim on how to assess the problem. Because a lot of times that's what it be for guys.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be able to have enough time to look for a solution to the problem. When it's thrown on us, it's like, damn, I mean, I can do it, but it's like, where was my mind somewhere else? Just like if anybody else is doing something unexpectedly, they're going to be like, okay, how can I fit this?
So immediately I was like, I clammed up or whatever, because you was talking about, like, I need to let them know that I'm not going to be home to cook. And I'm just like, but you need to eat too, right? You could cook
right,
too. But no, I was able to, like, step back to the part of if it was something like, hey, I can't mow the lawn today, can you get it? I'd be like,
probably not. Like,
you couldn't tell me this because I need to pay somebody to come. So I do. It's one of those things where I don't want to necessarily admit it, but there are certain things that I just am not gonna be. I'm gonna feel some type of way if I'm expected to do this. I still think it probably is worth a conversation. Outlining, okay, what do you consider what you provide or bring, or what am I expected to provide or bring? Because I do think that those lines can, blur a little bit, but I just think it definitely has to be a conversation where those things are clarified. And I think that, at least for me, it's a conversation that it can't be, we got to be willing to grow and be flexible, because I might have a problem with it initially, but I might be willing to see how it goes, kind of thing. And see if I can step into those roles, because I know traditionally I'm not going to be with it, most of it. But that's not to say that I'm not, like, I have bent a lot. But yeah, I don't know how much bending I be wanting to do sometimes.
Oh man, we're supposed to be like trees. When the wind blows hard enough, they almost snap, but they come back.
It just depends on how much water that thing got. It break if it's brittle.
That's true. I did question 2 and question 3.
All right.
I definitely want us to get into those.
Which ones?
From your list.
Oh, yeah. I don't know which ones they were. Want me to read them again?
You didn't have them like...
Oh, the ones that I sent you before?
Or the ones that you said earlier. Like, you had read one, and you were like, do you want me to read the second one to you? And I was like, yeah, let's get into it.
I thought we did get into that.
Oh, I thought it was more... It was a different question.
It was... Does a woman need to be less than? And then can a relationship thrive outside of gender normative? I mean...
we tackled it with less than.
Yeah, and definitely the gender normative roles.
I don't believe a woman has to be less than in a relationship.
Does she have to, like, subdue the parts
you
that
can't.
Like...
So when I talk to guys, right?
Yes. This is him talking for his damn self.
When I talk to guys, right?
Yes. Guys, quote unquote. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I was in a fraternity. I've been around a lot of guys.
Yes.
And so
all right, K-Sam.
It is. We feel like from the time we wake up, and we step outside the house, right? Mm-hmm. We have to fight everything and everyone to make it back into the house. So let's say I'm outside every day, 12 hours a day. I am on survival. Because there are so many things out to get me outside of the house. Outside of the house. Nobody wants to feel like I just did 12 hours or 12 rounds in the ring and now I gotta come home and fight some more. This is my only safe space.
Response to that
this is my only safe space, right?
Yes.
And I think it's crazy because as Black people, Black men and women, that's both of our stories.
Yeah, I'm glad that you went straight to that, because that's what I'm like. I'm hearing you talk about both of us, but talk about it individually.
But the problem is, when we come back in the house, we're not trying to fight each other. We're not trying to be combative. We're trying to relax. But the problem a lot of us are met with is now that we're inside the house, now we're still having to fight. Because the person that we're dealing with, for whatever, because of society, cultural norm, whatever, how things are flipped, they're now becoming a challenge to everything that we say and do when we're inside the house. Because it's, for a lot of times, like, I feel like,
go ahead, say it.
Women, if they really knew, like, how to talk to men, they would get their way. Like, if they really knew how to approach a conversation for things that they want, it would be so easy to get what you want.
All right, let's do a case in point. So, because I feel that, and I think it has to do with, like you talked about, the things that women care about. Like, the men don't care that you have a couch and, like, there's a stool there. That's fine, but a lot of times we're conditioned to make the house a home. The house, the home, that is our sanctuary. And so we be caring about that. Yeah. That's why we be nagging about the dishes or pick up your shoes or whatever, that kind of thing. And so I feel like, I don't know if I nagged. I don't know, because I like to clean. So that was my thing. I felt like maybe not even. I feel like a lot of times we are wanting to keep that sanctuary, that the peace in that home through that stuff that men think is inconsequential, and it is in a large part, unless it means something to you, it is inconsequential. And so how would you say that a woman should do? My thought, first of all, is to just give them some time to decompress. But what do you think is a way to care about the things you care about, but also care about your partner?
I just think it's about the approach. You know what I'm saying?
I need to lay it out, because I know I'm not good.
A delicate approach.
I'm not good with delicate. What
and that it's so it's just like, okay, men deal with men, right? And we are grown rough, like we are rigid, jagged. That's how we're grown.
Yeah.
And that softness is attractive to us. So let's say I just did come in from work. And, man, I had a long day, so now I'm decompressing on the couch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You already see that I'm decompressing on the couch. Let's say I like a cold glass of water and a newspaper.
Yeah.
If you bring it to me, now I'm in a better mood because I can get into my decompression quicker. You know what I'm saying? For my day, whatever the case may be. And then you might be like, hey, how are you? And you be like, hey, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, how come it's, hey, I ain't seen you all day. What's good? Work was work. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm be like, what's up with you?
Yeah.
Now it's your opportunity to be like, I've been good. I did trip over that thing in the bathroom and scrape my knee.
Yeah.
The sink that you said you was gonna fix, I tripped over it today. Then you'd be like, dang, your knee alright? Alright, well, you know what I'm saying?
Now
I'm just giving you
that cold glass of water ain't gonna soften them up enough to not see that as hostile.
I'm saying if that's what they do, if they drink, now you can bring them a Crown and ginger, and you know what I'm saying, they might be in a better mood. But it's like, that's how you approach it. Because a lot of guys that tell you like that, they don't get that.
Yeah.
They don't get the soft. They don't get the, are you all right? So now when they get a taste of it, they're like, oh my gosh, what know what I'm saying? What can I do to keep it?
My other question is, because the other reason that might not be happening is she just came home from doing a whole lot herself.
Right.
What say you?
What you mean?
So we both.
So now we both decompressing on the.
Yeah, but so.
Then that's not.
This wasn't my struggle, but I come home after work. You come home after work. The house is my sanctuary. So me come home, I go to the room, like whatever. You come home, drop everything at the front door, and then go to decompress. Your decompression just made me anxious.
So most of the time, what I would do is let it go right then. Mm-hmm. Mostly because I'm tired too, honestly. Right. But I wouldn't. What I skipped is the glass of water thing, the whole softening up. It's more like, give you your time or whatever. Right. Hey, would you mind getting that kind of thing? It's not really softness. It's more just give you your space, do what you need to do. Honestly, I'm focused on doing the same. Like, I understand you're tired, you just came from work or whatever the case may be. Is that element of softness necessary? Like, because the hard part for me to compute is caring for you as though I didn't go through it too. Like, I want us to be a team, like recognizing we both on Survivor. Like, hey, you got a bottle of water, like we split, like we're both trying to, like, we're in the trenches together. I hate that feeling that you're in the trenches by yourself and I'm just over here on cloud nine doing nothing. Like, and not to say that you're making me do these things, but I'm not making you do these things either. We're both just trying to contribute in our own way. But I feel like the same way that it's seen as though if I go to work, it's to the detriment of my family, but you go to work and it's expected. But you're not expected to, like, I don't know, you are expected to do those things that are traditionally, for men to do, I guess. But it's just seen as my having a career or whatever the case may be is always to the detriment of the family. So, because I'm still responsible for playing this soft role. Like, I'm responsible for all of the nurturing of everybody. And if I don't, then it seemed like you don't respect the man doing all this stuff. No, I do. Why can't you do your thing and I do my thing and I not be responsible for you? The same way you're not responsible for me. Like, we come together and support each other. But it's not, I have to carry this for you and you have to carry this for me. Like, again, it's the idea of two whole individuals come together and making each other better. But if one individual drops off, it doesn't take away from this person. It adds to, but it doesn't take away from. But I feel like it's always seen as though, like, so it ends up being that we as Black women end up having to have that superwoman kind of thing where we're able to, if we do go to work, it's just on top of all of our responsibilities as opposed to the shared load. It's like, well, yeah, you can go work, but you better make sure you have all this taken care of. I don't know.
I mean, I understand, and with how society is today, like, that's how it seems, that work is just like a cherry on top of everything else.
Yeah.
And it's just because up until this point, there has been stats, there has been examples, there has been like just us being to this point that what we came from, it works.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it don't have its own ups and downs, but kids who come from two-parent households tend to do better. They tend to be emotionally more stable. They tend to be mentally stronger because they have both examples of how men and how women should or should not act.
Right.
And so that is just it. And then it comes from mom was home. Did mom work? She might have worked, but she also, you know what I'm saying? She was there. She held the family together. Why? Because, like, even dad he's dad, but he don't care about certain stuff. And we understand it's just like, as you get older, you can be like, it makes more sense to why.
Yeah.
Dad did certain things, and it's just, do we want to say, hey, society's saying they're doing a new thing, so let's make the new thing the standard and get mad when the standard don't look like the old thing. We're not having the same results.
Right.
And then we're looking at the old thing like, y'all were stupid for doing it like that, but y'all got the results.
Yeah.
So it's just,
it's like
where we're at.
Territory. Shit. All right, final thoughts. Gender normative roles, strong Black women.
Everything just comes down to balance, and it comes down to communication. The negatives that come with a strong Black woman is that she is combative. She is not enjoyable, and she doesn't know how to be soft. And so when you lead with that, that's the impression that a lot of people get because that's what they deal with. Mm-hmm. And so it's just understanding, hey, yes, if I want to go out there and grind and work hard, I might only attract a dependable guy. You know what I'm saying? Someone who's going to latch on and depend on me because I'm out here doing it. But those who are out there doing it too, they can appreciate what I do, but they're not going to be like, yeah, that's what I want. Because a lot of times they don't. They want somebody who's going to be soft. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just find what works for you.
All right. I'm still on the whole healthy human being. I believe that strength in a woman is not a bad thing. I believe that it can be. I believe that it can be if that is the only thing that you know and you don't understand that. Yeah, I just think it's part of you. That's it. It means that you but also, the one question I didn't ask was, raising daughters, how you want them to be in the world. I think that the goal is to be healthy and whole and strong because, if you're not with anybody, or it's still a woman's responsibility to make sure that she's okay. Having a man to take on some of that load is great, but I don't think a man wants a woman that's just completely dependent. Well, some of them do, but I think they want some sort of
gotta be able to do something.
Yeah, a little bit of autonomy. And I think just in this day and age, with the like marriage being pushed further out and stuff like that, men having, like you said, this timeline that starts a little bit later than women, 10 years later than women. Well, until that 10 years passes, you're out there, so you need to be making sure that you're taking care of yourself. What?
No, I was gonna say it's not. Just they come into the bulk of their wealth. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. So they might be working, they might be taking care of, but they don't see like the majority of the money that they're gonna see in their lifetime until that time. So it's just like, you have this period of time where it's like,
you're still working. I think that correlates heavily though with the delay that men have in seeking a serious relationship. A lot of them they want to get on first. They want to make sure they have their stuff together before they decide to take on the load of a woman. And that's because they see a woman as something that they have to take care of, provide for. So I do think it correlates for sure. But yeah, in the time that men are figuring things out or working on getting to where they want to be, we out here. And we need to be self-sufficient, I think. You don't need to be rich, but I just think it's so much better when two people come together, being able to do what they need to for themselves, and then choosing to allow each other into a space for them to depend on, to lean on, to rely on, as opposed to it being a necessity. Like, I can't live if you don't feed me.
Right.
I feel that introduces an unhealthy dynamic where it just throws things off. When you are able to do for yourself, there's this freedom of choice. You're able to choose to be this person, choose to be in a relationship, and I feel like you just make healthier choices because it's not forced upon you.
No, I can definitely see that.
Fuck bitches, get money.
All day, fuck them kids.
All right. So, in conclusion to the conclusion, guys, final thoughts on my final thoughts. Watching this back, I was able to kind of really get a perspective of the conversation, and then I saw how kind of single-sided it was. His single side, my single side, and the fact that there are so many other perspectives that we didn't really acknowledge. So I did want to jump in just to kind of clear up the thought that is just one way of looking at things from his perspective and from mine. A healthy relationship being one that both people come together, able to take care of themselves and do that stuff, and just come in and support each other. I want to say that I do recognize there are plenty of healthy, successful relationships, happy relationships that are of the more traditional dynamic, and that is absolutely fine. Even in much the same way, the things that Kimoy was saying didn't really speak to the way that I do relationships and have done in the past and prefer to do them in the future. That's okay too. There are people that exist in each of these spheres, and my goal and the reason that I want to have these kind of discussions is to make sure that nobody feels that something's wrong with their sphere. If you are happy with a traditional dynamic, great. If you are happy with a more modern dynamic, great. If you are happy with the combination of the two, great. The idea is whatever works for you in your relationship is what matters. Have the conversations that you need to have with your partner to make sure you're on the same page, and do that shit. You know, like, I hate the kind of feeling as though everybody feels a certain way. And I think that's sometimes what's put out is like, oh, everybody feels this way. All men feel this way. All women feel this way. And that's just not the case. There are plenty men out there that are perfectly fine with a strong Black woman, that prefer it even. Or not to say that it's always clean cut. There might be some areas that they enjoy some of the more traditional aspects, some areas where they don't, but just don't feel like you have to fit into any mold in order to be loved and be seen and appreciated for exactly who you are. I know that a lot of times when I listen to some of the rhetoric of like Kevin Samuels, the late Kevin Samuels, and, you know, Fresh and Fit and stuff like that, it starts to make you think as though like, dang, do all men feel this way? Dang, I'm gonna have to change if I want love, right? And it's just not the case. So I know that when I would listen to those types of podcasts and conversations, I would leave them just feeling like almost hopeless, which is why I don't consume that kind of content if it's going to have me feel in a certain type of way. Because the reality is, in all the relationships that I've had, I've never had to deal with a guy that was like that. Maybe they wouldn't respect them. I really don't care. But it wasn't anything that I was confronted with. It's only on these platforms or in these specific circles or talking to these personalities that I am confronted with it. But I also follow a lot of podcasts, speak to a lot of people, have dated a lot of men that feel nothing of the sort. And so just recognizing that there are people on every side that are happy and thriving and have plenty of options to choose from. So I would say, you know, if you haven't found it yet, it's not because you are broken and you need to learn how to be more agreeable necessarily. The dating pool, the dating game is tough regardless of whether you're perfect or imperfect. So I wouldn't blame it on because you are not dateable or worthy of love or valuable or anything like that. It's just part of life, the difficulty of finding that one that fits, that suits you. Because in all the guys that I have met and dated and whatever, that I agreed with or we got along, that didn't mean that they was the one for me. Like, there's a whole lot of other traits that are on the table to that speak to compatibility and whether someone is the right fit for you. So yeah, I don't get down with that idea that, well, you're gonna get a trash person if you don't change. Yeah, get out of here with that. But anyways, I just wanted to go ahead and kind of clear that up because I did recognize as I'm in the process of a conversation, I was more responding to the words and missing some of the bigger pictures. And kind of, I felt like we were in that kind of bubble that doesn't really speak to the variety of circumstances and people and personalities that are out there. And that's the last thing I want to do, is to further isolate people with my beliefs or thoughts. So anyways, I want to share that with you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I want to go ahead and jump into some of the topics that were kind of hit on here, dating and all the other stuff, because yeah, it's a struggle out in these streets, and I think that we should talk about it. But anyways, like I said, all before, like, share, subscribe, all the things. Check us out on the podcast, Lex Talk, that's LEXTLK, on Apple, Google, Amazon, Anchor, Spotify, you name it, we're there waiting for you. And social media at @IsAlexis. So that's _ALXSS on all social media platforms. So anyways, I am tired. All right, y'all. Bye.
Yo, I pitch wisdom for the kidsdom. Solid as a prism, keeps a funky rhythm. If I want it, I go and get it. My blood thicker than water, we up like a zipper. My jeans seems got ashes from the plane. I'm elevating and crashing in the bed, but it's